Shalom everyone. We're in Parashat Masei, a very, very powerful parasha, the last parasha of the book of Bamidbar, Sefer, the book of Numbers. Okay, so we are at chapter 33, verse 1. אלה מסעי בני ישראל אשר יצאו מארץ מצרים, לצבאותם ביד משה ואהרון. These are the journeys of the children of Israel that left the land of Egypt by their armies at the hand of Moses and Aaron. ויכתוב משה את מוצאיהם למסעיהם. And Moses wrote the journeys. There's a whole expression that needs a whole explanation, so I'm not even trying to translate it. And then there's a list of the 42 journeys the Israelites had in the desert from leaving of Egypt all the way till they come to Jericho passage in front of Jericho on the east side of the river Jordan. Okay, that is part, very important part, the main part of Parashat Masei, and that goes all the way to verse 49. Then there's another part from verse 50 and on. And when you take over the country, then it says you'll have to build inside the promised land. You have to build 42 refuge cities. How many again? 42. How many journeys in the desert? 42. Because there's an additional expanding into the east side of the river Jordan, so 6 more cities were built on the east, but that's an addition, so it's 48 altogether. But it's mentioning of 42 plus 6. And then there is the boundaries of the promised land being expressed over here. Each tribe, what they're going to get. Of course, the boundaries first, and then the refuge cities. If we have time, we'll talk about it. But it's very important. It's part of it. What is refuge city? If somebody kills another person, and this is not preemptive murder, then in order to save him from vendetta, that's what the simple text is saying, he can run away to refuge city, and nobody of the relatives of the deceased can take a revenge till the high priest dies. When the high priest dies, everybody can go home and nobody can touch them. Okay? So a lot of questions we can ask about it. Basically, there's also another thing, but the major thing is Parashat Masei. Masei means the journeys. Okay? Now, first of all, a journey. What does it mean, a journey? In the language of the Zohar, and by the way, if you try to look for the Zohar about Parashat Masei, you can't find any. About Parashat Pinchas, we had a whole book. About Parashat Matot, 1 page. About Masei, nothing. 0. Nothing in the Zohar. There's no chapter about the Zohar. It probably was lost somewhere or was never written. We have no idea. I don't know if we'll ever know. Now, but the question is, what is the message for us? And thank God we have a lot of tools to support us from other Kabbalists. So let's first of all look at the expression Masei, journeys. By the way, the whole book of Numbers was about the journey. About, the whole thing about counting people was about the journeys. All the journeys were during somehow, let's say big majority, all of it was included in the book of Numbers. And this is the last parasha, this is a summary. Summary of what? Not just of the book of Numbers, it's a summary of our journeys since the beginning of the Hebrew year. Why a summary? Because the next parasha, Parashat Varim, falls on Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, and after that, it's the beginning, as we said last week, countdown till Rosh Hashanah. What do I mean countdown? Probably whatever we didn't achieve during the last year, we're not going to achieve anymore. We're supposed right now to start picking ourselves and preparing to the next year. Okay? So, as we said last week, this is the sprint. This is like the finish. We're coming to the finish line of, and that's why it's called Masei. Why Masei? Again, the Zohar explains, what is a journey? What is traveling? A person can be running around and flying. I know people, they fly all day, like at least twice a week. They fly here, they fly there. They're on airplanes and airplanes. They love airports and airplanes. You know, I've done it. You know, you have to be in the mood for that. But there are people that, like, forever. They fly, they journey, they go there, they go there, they go there, and it's never enough. And the question is, what are you looking for? The people who like going and traveling, and they come back, and it's the same thing. Well, of course, they were just traveling. No, the people don't just travel. They want to get something, right? As we learn in Kabbalah, right? When you learn Kabbalah, you learn that everything, whatever we do, it is based on our desire. What is our desire? We desire for the light. Now the question is, let's say this way, can you say that that journey fulfilled you? Brought you into fulfillment? Okay, so now we can tell the difference between a journey and a journey. There's a journey that looks like you traveled, you've been to places, seen people, whatever. You've been on airplanes and first class, business class, private planes, whatever. The question is, did you really make a journey? Because what's a journey? The Zohar explains to a journey is a revelation of light. Why? Because in the real world, if you did not reveal light, you're still in the same place. Right? You're still in the same place. Oh yeah, you ran around the whole globe 3 times, 4 times, 20 times. Did you really move somewhere? Are you in the same place, lower or higher? That's the question. And that's why the word journey, Masa, is always about revelation of light. One of the biggest revelations of light we can experience happens when we open the ark. Right? What do we say when we open the ark? Vayhi binsoa ha'aron. As the ark was traveling, going into a journey. The word binsoa, the root is nasa, nun samech ayin, which is the same root of masa, masei. This is the root. So what the Zohar is saying, when we have the word masa, nasoa, that thing about traveling, it is the same way, you know, if you have a car, you know, the car goes nowhere if there's no fuel in. Says Ravash, like, every person needs fuel to move on. Without fuel, we go nowhere. What is the fuel? Energy. What's in it for me? Do I get something out of it? Of course, a lot of people go travel because they feel why would people make so much effort to pack stuff? Going and squeeze into airplanes, or all kinds of stuff, packing it. Some people just have it. Just thinking about packing drains them, right? Another one is like just sitting on an airplane for hours. You can't run anywhere. That gets you crazy, and people still do that, right? They are just and they travel and they travel and they travel. Why do they travel? Because they think they are going to get something out of it. The question is, do they really get? So here comes the Zohar and says the journey is the real, true transformation. Where else can we see that? When Moses, with the Israelites, they're standing there in front of the Red Sea. Okay? Which in Hebrew it's not the Red Sea. Never been the Red Sea. The closest could be the Reed Sea. Okay? Okay, but no. The Zohar explains this is the Yam Sof. The sea, the ocean of finities, of finite. And you have to tear the borders. Tear what is finite. That's the tearing of the Red Sea. Kri'at Yam Suf. Not splitting, tearing. Kri'ah means tearing, not splitting. Okay? Splitting is, it's a Chalukat Yam Suf. Nobody says like this in Hebrew. English is, you have to study Torah in Hebrew. Okay? You're missing 90% of the issue. So, Moses is standing of the sea, which is all the doubts. It's an ocean of, we can't do it, we shouldn't do it, it's not allowed to do it, there's no way to do it, we're going to die out of it. That's the ocean of limitations. That's Yam Suf. And everybody screams, God help us. And Moses is screaming also. And what's the Creator's answer to Moses? What are you yelling at me? Ma titzak elai. Daber el bnei Israel ve'isau. Talk to the children of Israel and let them travel. Use the word again. Same word. They have to travel. Ask the Zohar, travel? Where? Halayam hayu chonim. They're camping on the sea. Travel where? There are mountains in the right, there are mountains in the left. There's a sea in the front, and Pharaoh, with his vengeance, is in behind. Where can they travel? Says the Zohar, the travel is not horizontally, vertically. They were supposed to travel to a higher state of consciousness. From a state of consciousness of, let's fix it somewhere, to a state of consciousness, everything is possible. And they use the 72 names for that. How do you know? What's the first word of the 3 verses of the 72 names? You go now to Exodus, chapter 14, verse 19. The first word of the 3 verses that comprise the 72 names of God is Vaisa. Again, the same word appears. And he traveled. Who traveled? Simply because the children of Israel made their travel. What's travel? It's a journey. From where? From the sea of limitations to the consciousness of everything is possible. This is why, go back a few verses ahead, in the beginning of Parashat Beshalach, and God did not let the Israelites to go straight forward to the Holy Land. He took them around to the Red Sea. You see the map? If you have the map of Egypt and Israel, the Israelites were in the delta of the Nile River. What do? You just go by the shore to the east. If you go straight to the east along the shore, 3 days, you are in the Holy Land. That's it. You don't want to go to Gaza? Nobody ever wanted to go to Gaza. You go straight to Beersheba, from Beersheba up to Hebron, you're there. Why going south? Such a long journey, 6 days walk to meet the Red Sea. Because sometimes the Creator takes you to a place that it's like either you make a miracle or you die. Some people die, some people make miracles. Okay? The ones who died, they have to come all over again and try to make the miracle all over again. Why? Because we are magical creatures. A human being without magic is like a fish without water. You dry up, you go nowhere, you can't swim, you're stuck. We travel by miracles. Why? What's a miracle? What's the definition of a miracle? Nes. Nes in Hebrew means lanus velitnoses. To fly and to flee. Up and above everything. That's a miracle. You journey. That's a journey. That's a travel. You travel from A to B, what is called the quantum leap. There's nothing to do between A and B. The brain, as Einstein used to say, the logic that got you into the trouble cannot get you out of it. You have to make a quantum leap. You didn't make it, another time. Okay, so let's explain now. Let's read now. Amazing commentary of the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Rabbi Chaim ben Attar. Rabbi Chaim ben Attar, he was a contemporary of the Baal Shem Tov. He was from the Morocco, tried to make it all the way to Jerusalem. He didn't spend too long in Jerusalem, and he passed away. He's buried in Mount Olives. The Baal Shem Tov was dreaming to meet him and to find that if they meet, they can change the world. The world was not ready. But both of them, each one of them in his turn, made the quantum leap that moved the whole world step forward, and without what they did, we wouldn't be here and where we are. We're standing on the achievements of our previous generations. Because, when people break through the wall of limitations, it needs one person, two people, three, whatever. When they break through, everybody follows them. Like the Wright brothers. Nobody could believe that human beings can fly a machine heavier than air. You know what? The moment they did it, everybody started to do that. Correct? So, let's go. So, the Or HaChaim HaKadosh says as follows. אכן נתבהר על פי דברי אנשי אמת, שאמרו שהליכת ישראל במדבר הייתה לברר ניצוצי הקדושה שאנס איש הבלייה על החונה במדבר השומם ששם קנה מקומו. What was the purpose of all of these traveling in the desert, and why do we need to know about these 42 different locations they went through? Won't that be enough saying, and the Israelites went through 42 different journeys? I got it. The names of the names of the places is like וייסעו מפי החירות ועברו בתוך הים המדבר, ילכו דרך 3 ימים, יחנו במרה וייסעו ממרה, and they went all kinds of names of places you never heard, you'll never hear, and you don't really care. Right? And some of them are really weird. Okay? So, like names of places you've never been to, they sound weird, right? Even places that you've been to, they sound weird to people that never been there, and you tell them about it. Oh, what a weird name for a place.
Timbuktu.
You ever been to Timbuktu? Yes, you're right. That rhymes. He says, what was this traveling for? This traveling was because the desert is a place that is deserted. Is it deserted? No. This is the seat of the dark force. Why do you think nothing grows there? I don't know. Nothing, but not enough to support a life. Why is it so hard to make the desert bloom? Because you have to break some klipot, some judgments, some inhibitions, some negative forces in order for the desert to start blooming. That's not that easy. Okay? However, what is that? Why is a desert like this? It's not an empty place. A desert is a place that is full of sparks of light that the dark side robbed from humanity in the fall of Adam. So, what the Israelites were doing, they were going straight into the desert to recapture those holy sparks of light from the dark side. Okay? Now, continues the Rabbi Chaim ben Attar. Shesham, this is the place of the dark side. Because what can you find in the desert? All the symbols of evil. Nachash, Saraf, Akrab. Snakes, serpents, and scorpions. How does that sound like? Not funny. Not a place that you want to go to, correct? That's why people stay away. Mentally, even subconsciously, you know that what's there is not for you, so there you stay away. And the congregation of God, says the Rabbi Chaim ben Attar, they stepped over there purposely to take it away. The words are v'leotzi bil'o mipiv, to take away what he swallowed back out of his mouth. He captured it, and we wanted to capture it back. Why? As we said again, during these 3 weeks, these are the 3 weeks of judgment. What does mean judgments? What is judgment? Judgment doesn't come out by itself. Judgment is a missed opportunity. How did the judgments appear? The sin of Adam, the sparks of light, the holiness fell, got mixed into the darkness, into the physical realm of unholiness. Our job as humanity is to recapture that lost sparks, and that's our journey. Simply. What are we doing here? We are on a journey. What's the purpose of the journey? To capture the lost sparks that our soul needs to capture. As I said before, when Adam fell, it was a big job. And you know what happens? Sometimes the job is too big, so you get a lot of subcontractors in order to finish the job. And each one of us, each human being, is a subcontractor. Each one of us has to pick his own sparks. If you don't do that, the job won't be done. If you don't do that, the job won't be done. All of us, each one of us, has his own journey. What is a journey? To capture the light, and that's how you get the energy to move forward. By capturing those sparks, lost sparks. Now, and vuatam, and this is the reason, it adds, Shayu Israel, it's all from the Zohar. This is like Nechasa Vakav, this is the Zohar Pekudei, to get the whole light out of the after the dark side. That's in Zohar Tuma. Vuatam, this is the reason, Shayu Israel chonim makom echad shana, makom acher 12 sha'ot. This is the reason why the Israelites were camping in one place a year, and another place 12 hours. The moment the job is done, poof, you don't have to go there to be there anymore. How did they know? It says in the book of Numbers. What does it say? There was a cloud. The cloud rested on the tabernacle. Mm-hmm. The moment the cloud raised, that means we have to go. There were scouts. The moment they see it's raised, there were silver trumpets. Everybody, there's a whole team blowing the trumpets. The whole camp hears, which means an hour to go, 2 hours to go, pack up, and now leave. And the whole camp was moving, where? After the cloud. When the cloud camped, the tabernacle was reassembled, the whole camp was reassembled. How long did they stay there? Sometimes a year, sometimes 2 years, sometimes 12 hours. When the job was done, how was the job done? Let's go on. Uverur ze, and that kind of sorting, sifting through, pulling out the holy sparks, how was that done? You know, how does that done on a personal base? You find a challenge. Somewhere inside it tells you you have to do it. Your brain tells you it's not for you. Stay away. But something inside tells you your life is dependent on that. And then you charge. And you do it with all your might, with what is called Mesirut Nefesh. Complete devotion. Just to make the good happen. What happens when we do something with total devotion? We travel to higher realms. And what happens when we travel to higher realms? We create what is called Mayim Nukbim, female water. It's water that go from the bottom to the top, from low to above, a geyser, like a real spring that, when we do that, and we behave like that, that's a miracle. We flee up and above, outside the box. And what that creates, that movement up, creates suction. As we go up and above with devotion, with excitement, with leave those thoughts. You can't, you shouldn't, it's not allowed, it's probably bad. When you do it you do something that is up and above. You create that suction. And what that suction does, it sucks the sparks of light that are captured since the sin of Adam, captured in the dark side. And when that comes out, you never go back to the same place. Because when this is over, you look like, where was I? What was I thinking to myself? I had a totally different concept of reality. I was like, how could I even think or believe in everything will be different? Why? Because when you broke the walls of your box and you pulled those sparks of light, you're a different person. You've changed. You traveled. You made a miracle. After something like this, you look at your life and you say, that was worthwhile. I don't care about this and that. That was the full worth of it. Like, wow, I experienced real creation. What happened on the Red Sea? When God said, Mati tzak dam, this is not the time. You talk to the Israelites to travel. Travel where, says the Zohar? Travel upwards. You have to see that you can do that jump. You can make the unbelievable happen. You can tear into pieces the ocean of limitations. Because you're human. And because you're human, you're an imagination. And when you have that pure faith in the good, there's no way that God is going to throw us to the dogs. There's no way that God is not going to allow us to wilt like this. And you know what? We'll do our best. And God is going to do the rest. Why? Because here it's not just connecting to the mercy of God. It's connection to the source, the real point that creation sprouted from. What was it? The will to share. Everything that we see is a result of that seed. When you reconnect to that seed, everything is possible. Everything can happen. Everything. The whole world will say that's impossible. Who cares? How many times the whole world said this is impossible and then it happened? Okay, so it's impossible this way. You know, the world is full of people that says impossible. You know, with friends like this, you don't need enemies. So, however, now when we're talking about the Israelites, in order to create that suction, you need holiness. You need really strong holiness. Now, of course, when the Israelites were a nation, were made a nation, and they built the tabernacle, it says in the Zohar, Parashat Bamidbar, and Parashat Naso, there was never something so powerful before. 12 tribes, camping, three to the east, 3 to the south, 3 to the west or the north. That's according to the zodiac signs. It's not the zodiac sign. It's the forces of reality. In the middle, the Levites and the Kohanim with the tabernacle. All of that together had that sense of purity and completion, wholenessness, that could suck any spark from any negativity. Now, does negativity have a force of life of its own? Never. Negativity is called, in the language of Kabbalah, klipa, a shell. The moment you take the inside of the shell out, the shell will collapse into nothing. All what the shell is about the ability to create the illusion of a problem, the illusion of pain, the illusion of a blockage. The moment you suck the light out of it, the shell has no life of its own. Darkness, which means I'm talking about mental darkness, has no power of its own. Only what it robbed from the holiness. Our job as humans is to be so holy, so we suck the life out of any darkness. If there is a darkness that is alive, it's because we didn't suck the holiness that is still captured within it. Okay? Now, the completion. What is Kedusha Shlema? A complete whole holiness that has the power to make that suction. Uvesot Shlemut. And this is the Shekhinah, the divine presence. This is Israel, this is the Torah. When everything is connected with 600,000 Israelites, with Moses, that had the power to break. Look, before the journey of the Israelites in the desert, the dark side was so strong around the whole world. People were so blind. What that 40 years in the desert did, these 42 journeys, was to tire the dark side. Not just of Israel, of the whole world. And all of the journeys that happened since then, little by little, the dark side becomes weaker and weaker, more tired and more upset, because he has less and less forces, because by our doing positive things, we rob him out of his powers that he captured from us, from humanity. Okay? Now, to continue. When they were very powerful, because they were more powerful even than Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they did not have that structure of holiness with the tabernacle, 600,000, and they were not, after the purification in the iron furnace of Egypt, right? They were pure gold, purified, refined, united. That gave a huge blow to the dark side. After 40 years, the next stage was ready. Okay? But that was for us, that the template for our own actions. Now, we don't need that structure anymore, because they put the base that every human being can make that on his own, to do his own little job that for himself is huge. But for humanity, it's like, when Rabbi Ashlag is saying, if you are the last one to save the last spark, it's not the last one, if not all the sparks that are corrected by the people before you. So every person has to see himself, says the Talmud, that his action can tilt the scale. One more action, one more spark that can tilt the scale. You never know, because we don't have the gauge like in front of us. We don't know how many sparks are left. Maybe one more excitement, one more devotion, one more fight with love and positivity. If you fight with hate, you lose. You take a spark from the Holy One and put it in the dark one. That never helps. We spoke about it last week. Okay. So that holiness was very powerful. So powerful that it gave us, now in the 3 weeks of judgment, to do our own traveling, our own releasing of sparks, our own fulfillment of our life journey. What did we say is a journey? When you really make a miracle, with devotion and excitement and love and appreciation and all of that positivity, you shift yourself up, and then you make a difference. Not just for yourself, in the big picture, for everyone. Now, says Rabbi Zakloya, some more amazing stuff. We're going to Parashat Masei in Sefer Alikutim. Okay, it says as follows. You should know, Ki masot elu hem shemot Adam ha'elyon. Why should we know all of these names? Those names that we are reading this week, Parashat Masei, these are the names of the divine Adam. When the Arizal, when Rabbi Zakloya says Adam ha'elyon, the divine Adam, he means, what they say about every human being is a microcosmos. So we're talking about the macro. Every human being is kind of a small image of the big picture. Adam ha'elyon, the divine Adam, is the big picture. The big picture is made of many parts. How many? 42 basic parts. Each part has a name. Every journey is a name of one of the parts. So he says, Rabbi Zakluria, Se'ar, hair, where the wisdom of a human being is connected to, that is called Youdkevitch. There's another name, Tagatz, but it's like a secret name. There's a visible name that you find it here in the Parashat Masei. The 42 names of the 42 places they journeyed, they are codes of the 42 aspects of the divine creation, which is called the tree of life or the divine Adam, because sometimes you take the tree of life and you show it, it looks like a human being, right? But it's not a human being. This is the macrocosmos. This is the big picture. This is the whole creation. The tree of life. It has 42 parts that have names. These are the names of the 42 journeys. Okay? And he gives more examples over there. I won't go into it. He gets some more examples, but I think that's enough. But there's another thing. Why 42? Why not 32? Why not 55? Why 42? So says Rabbi Isaac Luria in the Shara Kavanot, the Gate of Meditation. Shara Kavanot, page 7, in the print of Rabbi Brandwein. And when you get up in the morning, you wash your hands. After you wash your hands from all the impurity, then you are starting, you're not just getting ready. You're getting ready and you prepare your physical body for what? The journey of the day. Why did you get up in the morning? Because there are some sparks you have to lift today. Oh, you think I got up in the morning because I have to send the kids to school, I have to pay a visit, I have to make a living, I have that, I have to pay some bills, I have this. What are you talking about? That's an illusion. Not that you're not supposed to do that, but that's a setup. You know, the stage. You know, when you set up the stage, and you have on the stage all kind of little details, but it's not important. This is just a background for the real scene that is going to happen. What's the scene? What is today's miracle? What is the today's tikkun that you're doing? So first of all, the tikkun means you have to make a journey, to travel. You have to make an nesiyah. You have to make a masa. What is a masa? From the bottom up. You have to make a quantum leap. That's called masa. It's a real masa. Okay? In order to make that masa, you're first to prepare your physical body. How? You wash it. You clean it. You dress it up. Okay? And when you finish preparing your body and you're decent, you're ready for the journey, you wash your hands again. Right, left, right, left, right, left. 3 times. Okay, from a cup. And then you lift your hands, says the Ari, like this. In front of your eyes, not higher than that. Like this. And you say the bracha. ברוך אתה השם אלוקינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על נטילת ידיים. What's על נטילת ידיים? That gave us the mitzvah of raising our hands. Netila means in Hebrew to pick up, to take. To take your hands from where? From the dark side. Okay? And when you do that, Al Netilat Yadayim, says the Ari, is initials, Ani. And that's why the Rizal is saying you have to put your hands like this, like a poor. I have nothing. I'm ready. Give it to me. Give me the light. Okay? When you raise your hands, you have right hand, left hand. When you put them together, you have a third one. Okay? Right hand is Hayad. He calls it Hayad Chazaka, the strong hand. Remember? What we said in the beginning. Getting out of Egypt to Masei. What was it getting out of Egypt? It's a journey. It's a travel. To get out of Egypt, to get out of darkness, slavery, misery, negativity, impurity. Egypt is the lowest place on earth. Energetically. Okay? Dark side. Okay? That's why the exile was in Egypt. To pick up all of those sparks lost into Egypt. And what was Egypt about? To suck the energy in. The pyramids, all the witchcraft of Egypt was to suck the whole universe and to keep it under their claws. Okay? We took it out. Egypt was left empty after we got out. Look at Egypt today. There's nothing there. They're trying for centuries. Nothing. It's so miserable. Then from the desert, now with all of that light, you can come to the promised land. But now, to get out of Egypt was Hayad HaGdolah, the big hand, Hayad HaChazaka, the strong hand, Vayad HaRama, the elevated hand. Yad in Hebrew is a hand. If you count how many knuckles you can see, 14. How do you write 14 in Hebrew? Yad. Yudalid. Now 3 hands gives you how much? 42. 42 is the 3 hands. So when you need a liftoff, you use those 3 hands. Those 3 hands make together 42. 42 is like, you want to lift someone, 2 hands, it's not strong enough. 3 hands, right? When you see, this crane gets down to lift something, you're always afraid it can fall over. 3 hands, it cannot fall over. It's steady. Okay, now, why? Because we have to lift ourselves right now. With that blessing, we're starting to lift ourselves from Olam Asiyah, from the world of illusion, the world of materialism, the world of darkness, whatever, all the confusion and chaos, and we're starting to lift ourselves to Olam Yetzirah. What is Olam Yetzirah? That's out of the box. Everybody wants out of the box. You want out of the box? The 3 hands will pick you up. How do I summon those 3 hands? Here, Al Netilat Yadai. But there's a secret inside, because that's called the name of 42. The name of 42 letters, known also as the Ana Bekoach. Right? So, if I want to get that to happen, you need the liftoff. You should know the Ana Bekoach by heart. Ana Bekoach Gedulat Yemincha Tatir Tzua. Okay, so what is the Ana Bekoach doing? That's Masei. 42 journeys, 3 hands. Everything is concentrated in it. Now, but the name of 42 letters have few levels. The level that getting out of Olam Asiyah, that's the Ana Bekoach. What does it mean? Where it's being taken from. Okay, in the beginning, I'm serious about Bereshit bara Elohim. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, right? That's how the Torah starts. There are 42 letters from the Bet of Bereshit, the first letter of the Torah, till the Bet of Vavo, and the earth was Tohu Vavo. Those 42 letters, I code. Everything is a code. Those 42 letters in the beginning of the Torah, there's a very fascinating mathematical equation that converts them. Instead of Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'et haaretz, Aleph Bet Gimel Yud Tav Tzadik Kuf Reish Ayin Sin Tet Nun Nun Gimel Daled Youdkevitch, which is called the name of 42 letters. This is the initial of the sequence that can raise us above judgments. It's a counter judgment of them all. All the judgments of this physical world that we can encounter, this is the liftoff. This is the counter judgment. It is a judgment that counteracts all the lower, all the klipot and the negative judgments, whatever. That was known from the beginning of creation. Okay? Now, it was known as a name of 42 letters. And it was being used in many places. And it's encoded in many places. For instance, what's the most powerful prayer? Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. So again, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem, 3 times the name of God. Yad, 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 the 3 again. Lift off. Then after that, you have V'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha, and you should love the Lord your God with all your might, and so on and so on, till, and that paragraph goes till Uvisharat, in your gates. In English, what can I do? But in the Hebrew, this paragraph has 42 words, corresponding to those 42 letters. Okay? In a Kabbalistic prayer book, you will see them marked. Each word, V'ahavta Aleph, Et, Bet, Hashem, Gimel, like the whole sequence of this, the name of 42 letters. Now, because you need a liftoff. Then you have another one. In the Tfilat Amidah, the silent prayer, it starts Baruch Ata Hashem Elokeinu v'Elokei Avotenu Elokei Avraham till Baruch Ata Hashem Magen Avraham. Blessed are you the Lord, the shield of Abraham. In this blessing, there should be also 42 words. Why? It's another liftoff. Each one is a liftoff in another level. Okay? If you learn about the permutations of the name of God, that the whole world is basically permutations of the different names of God. So, we have, for that, you have the name of God, the Tetragrammaton, Youdkevitch. So Yud and Hey, Vav and Hey, 4 letters. Okay? When you spell them out, it's called Milui. Spell them out. When you say Yud, you hear 3 letters, Yud Vav Dalet, right? So you write Yud the way you hear it, the name of the letter. Hey, you write Hey Yud, that's how you hear it. Vav, Vav Yud Vav. Then Hey, Hey Yud. How many letters do you get? 10. Okay? How many together by now? 4 plus 10? 14. Now you spell it out the next level. Yud is made of Yud Vav Dalet, right? So it's a tertiary level. So you write now Yud Vav Dalet. Okay? Hey, you write Hey, you write a Yud. How many letters you're going to get? 28. 28 is twice 14. How much do you get? 42. That's another, it's called the name of 42, but that already in the higher levels. That's rising. Olam Yetzirah and Bria, you use it over there. Okay? Always you need a name of 42. There's another way. When Moses is asking, God, who sent me? Who should I tell me? You have many names, you have many ways to reveal yourself. Who should I say, send me over? He says, they translate it poorly. I am what I am. No, it says, Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. Ehyeh is one of the names of God. Numerical value, 21. But you have Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh twice. 21 plus 21, 42. So, now, how do you see the one that we said that, it's like the Tetragrammaton, 4. The spelling out, 10. Spelling out the next level, tertiary level, 28. When you want to, in the prayer, to move one level up, you say Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shmei Rabbah. 4 words. Youdkevitch. בעלמא דברה קירותי והמליך מלכותי ועצמך פוקני ויקרב משיחי. 10 words. Then you have יהא שמי רבה מברך לעלם למאה מיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר בעלמא 28 words. What did we get? 4, 10, 28. So the Kaddish, says the Rabbi has a glory, is the elevator, the liftoff you need to move up the world. So when you start the morning, you bless over your hands, and then after that, you start to cleanse this physical world. This is the reading the story from the Torah, and then the Mishnah, of the offerings in the temple, the incense. And then what do you say? The Ana B'Koach. What is the Ana B'Koach? In the 1st century CE, there was a fear. The sages saw a dark millennium is coming. We'll have to write. Everything was by heart at that time. All the real secrets of the Torah. Here we had only the written Torah. Everything else was orally transmitted from one generation to another, from Moses to Joshua and so on, all the way to the generation of the great sages of the 1st and 2nd centuries that were called Tanaim. One of the greatest of them all was Rabbi Nechunia ben Akana. He wrote something that in its holiness it resembles somehow the Zohar. Sefer HaBahir. Sefer HaBahir. Okay? How do you say Bahir? Clarity? The book of clarity? Okay? And he gets the Holy Spirit and he writes a prayer that the name of 42 letters becomes the acrostics of it. What we know, the Ana B'Koach prayer. That's why over there, in the part of the prayer which is the offerings, you say the Ana B'Koach. And you say it if, let's say, some people, let's say you don't say, but you have to say the Ana B'Koach. Why? Without that, says the Ari. Let's go back. Ve'inei inyan aliyatam, the raising of the worlds, the raising of the sparks, the raising of the consciousness. Because why did you get up in the morning? You need to make your journey of today. How are you going to make a journey? You need to rise up and above, correct? And he says, the issue of that rising, that ascension, they can never lift off without the name of 42 letters. To my dismay, I realized that many years ago, that in the most religious yeshivot, academies, they're so intense into study. So they skip that part of the prayer. They don't say the Ana B'Koach in the morning. When I heard it the first time, some almost 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I'm sorry, I was in shock. You know, I'm still meeting a lot of yeshiva boys, the biggest yeshivot in the world, the most powerful, they don't even know how important it is, because Rabbi Ezekiel is saying there's no liftoff. You didn't start to ascend if you didn't say the Ana B'Koach. If you didn't use the name of 42 letters. Okay? So, never go out without it. And you know what? What if you find yourself that you're stuck in the middle of the day? Why are you stuck? Why are we stuck somewhere in our relationships, business-wise, in a place? It's like, I don't know what I'm doing over here. I'm like stuck here for a while. I'm trying to leave and you're stuck because there are some spiritual sparks you did not lift off yet. So what do? Ana B'Koach. With passion, with love, with excitement. When you do the Ana B'Koach, with the consciousness, says the Zohar, why the words in most of the prayer books, the words are being written with a period after every 2 words. It's written in 7 sequences, 6 words each. Ana B'Koach, period. Gedulat Yamincha, period. Tatir Tzura, period. It has nothing to do with the content, because the content is just a cover up. The Zohar says every line is like an angel with the 6 wings. You say Ana B'Koach, the angel starts to flap a pair of wings. Gedulat Yamincha, another pair of wings is starting to flap. Tatir Tzura, a 3rd pair of wings is starting to flap. By the time you finish the 7 sentences, you have 7 angels flapping 42 wings, 6 for each. You have a drone. You have liftoff. So when you say the Ana B'Koach with excitement, they start to lift you up. So anytime you're stuck and you need to, and it's heavy, maybe it's a very heavy spark, I have to lift. So, okay, let's call the angels. We need a drone power, we have a suction. That's another koach. The more excitement, the more love, the more happiness we do it, we can rise. The Israelites in Parashat Masei, they set the template. They made it possible for everyone to do it on his own. Of course, when the temple works, then it's much easier, the network, the power station, everything. But we still have the Ana Bekoach to make that happen. So, now when you do that, what do? Think about it. Something that is very important. Abram, in order to bring his word to the world, he had to run away from Ur. He was comfortable in Ur. He was born over there. He made a living, nice living over there. He became a very big celebrity in Ur. But he had to run away. First of all, he ran away to Haran, from Iraq to south of Turkey, and then he settled for a while, and then what? He got the message, go to the Holy Land, go to the land of Canaan, to the Promised Land. It's like, but first of all, he had to run away. Let's think about Jacob. He ran away from Esau. His brother wanted to kill him. Then after many years, 20 years, he's with his uncle. He has to run away from his uncle, right? He's also on the run. Moses, 40 years old. He's the prince of Egypt. And he has to run away from Pharaoh, wants to kill him. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he runs away from the Romans. However, without it, how would he get into a cave for 13 years? If he needs to teach and to serve and his no, he ran away. What is this bericha? What are we doing when we say the Ana Bekoach with passion? What are we doing when we use the 72 names and we are running away from what? From the reality we're stuck in, that is not really a reality. It's our jail. It's our box. It's our dungeon. It's our inhibitions. It's our old logic that is not useful anymore. The whole thing is about escaping. It's about bricha. Escaping one level after another. Every space, every time that we do this ascension, it's an escape. The Zohar gives us the power to escape. The Ana Bekoach gives us the power to escape. All of this is about the power to escape. Not escaping as somebody defeated. Escaping as an Israelite living Egypt, the victory. You're not controlling me anymore. I'm over it already. I'm done with that. That's the old me, and the old me is left behind. And that's a new me I'm traveling into. That quantum leap, what does it mean, quantum leap? The logic of level A has nothing to do with level B. Because level B is like, again, where have I been? What were I thinking to myself? How come I didn't know that? Oh, you didn't do a liftoff, so, whatever you see from that level, you go higher, you see the whole thing looks totally different. This is the gift of Parashat Masei. This is the gift of sweetening judgments. Before you sweeten the judgment, everything looks bitter, upsetting. All of that stuff, uncomfortable. The moment you sweeten that, the moment you do the ascension, you see it with a different light. It's a light of the new level. And now it's just like, wow, thank God. If I didn't go through that, I won't be who I am. And that's why you use the judgments of these 3 weeks. You're not afraid of them. You use them. You use them to rob them from all what they robbed from us. And that's doing our mission, fulfilling our mission and our goals. That's why also, by the end, when we have the refuge cities, What's a refuge city? The Zohar is a refuge city. It's a city to escape from war. Why does somebody who kills somebody by mistake has to run away? Because you've been somewhere wrong. Why did it happen that somebody has to be killed and you are the messenger? Why? Why do you have to bring yourself to something like this? You have to make an ascension. Those 42 cities were cities of study. So you come to that city, what can you do? Study. And you study till you got it. Now I realize who I'm supposed to be. I was not truthful for myself. That's why I got into it. I had to leave my job and my family and my friends and my bar and my synagogue or whatever, the lifestyle I had. Okay, away, on the go, you're running. Because you didn't run. You didn't escape from it because of your everyday work. You didn't lift yourself up. Okay, you go and somewhere will help you. Doing that in the refuge cities. So it's all coming together. And that's giving us huge opportunity for this week to lift ourselves up and above. Thank you so much and have a great week.